a lot of second purchases happen within 24 to 48 hours after placing an order. So
Wow.
basically, before even you like received your package from the brand, you're like going back to the website and like purchasing something else.
Today on Commerce Untold, I'm joined by Vira Sadlak, Senior Strategist at Flowium, to discuss how DTC brands actually build retention programs that moves revenues, not just send emails. Vira, how are you? Welcome.
Good, good. Thank you for having me, Ethan. Excited to be here.
Yeah, we had a nice chat, prior to this episode.
We did, we
we,
did. Yeah.
we even identified the source of your first name, right?
We did, yeah. We found out that we have one things in common.
Mhm.
Ethan knows a lot about Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was interesting. So that was like a common common ground. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. So you're currently in London, and obviously you also have a base in Canada, right? Tell us
Mm-hmm.
more about you and what do you do?
Um, yeah, well, I'm right now I'm in London. Moved here a few years ago. We'll be moving back to Canada in a few months. So maybe by the time you're listening to this podcast, I'm back in beautiful Pacific Northwest Vancouver.
Wow.
I am a strategist at the agency called Flowium. We are a retention marketing agency specializing in email, SMS, all things retention. Honestly, we are platinum partner of Klaviyo, one of the best ones in the market. I might be biased, but if you ever want to learn something about email or SMS, most of the time Flowium will be on top of your search because we do deliver like a lot of really good educational content. And I really hope that today you will be able to learn something to apply to your business, to your agency, or if you have more questions, please like reach out to me directly or to anyone at our team.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of so much focus on acquisition, right? Obviously,
Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
so challenging these days, and all the innovation and the tech probably goes to strategies and processes and tools.
It is,
Just trying to
yes.
understand attribution and analytics and multi-channel and offline and online and retention is just this place where you can just pick the money or from the floor with existing customers and just try to upsell,
Exactly.
try to deliver value. Why have first have you decided to specialize on retention rather than the acquisition side?
Like honestly, there is like no dramatic story here. It's just like
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah,
It just happened. I was like back in the day like marketing generalist doing everything, but then I started like realizing that brands are honestly like leaving money on the table with like not utilizing their databases enough. It's almost like they are pursuing this like lead. They're like adding them to the list, or that first purchase happens, and then like the brands are going like crickets, nothing happens. It's like
yeah,
you've been like pursuing that person like actively, then they are placing the order and you don't even like follow up with an email. And that's actually one of the biggest mistakes we are seeing in the industry, because with a lot of our brands, especially for those that are selling some kind of like replenishable products or products that are like less than $100 or in that like $100 margin, we do see surprisingly that a lot of second purchases happen within 24 to 48 hours after placing an order. So
wow,
basically, before even you like received your package from the brand, you're like going back to the website and like purchasing something else. So that's like one of the like biggest money like losing mistakes that
yes,
you can make, is not like talking to your customer within that like first 24 to 48 hours. It can be SMS, it can be email, like go wherever your customer is, but you need to kind of talk to them, and even maybe like delivering some kind of like an offer to bring them back. It's going to be easier to convert them now than it will be in like few months. It almost like counterintuitive to me, but I know I'm the same. Like that's how I shop too. So
yeah.
that's
I mean, this
yeah.
data 24 to 48 hours, it's really, wow, surprising.
Yeah.
And it's
That
not utilized. I mean, yeah, Shopify is sending this default order confirmation email, and probably that's it, right? I mean,
yeah.
what do you do from there, right? I mean, and also you see the budget allocated in marketing, right? For
Hmm.
we talk about acquisition versus retention. I mean, it's really really clear. So, what are the major gaps that you see right now? I mean, for brands, after they, you know, did a sale and they have a really nice database. What are
Uh-huh.
the major strategies that you think? First is just to increase this database of subscribers.
Uh-huh.
And what are the gaps that you see in implementing those strategies, those retention strategies?
One I kind of covered. It's like brands being like very active before they convert that lead, and then being like quiet after the first conversion happens. So you do need to have post purchase sequences in place, email, SMS, like everything. You do need to have some kind of like win back automations in place. And again, like I do talk like specifically about automations. Of course, you can have like additional campaigns in place that are like one off, like holiday related stuff like that, but your goal is to like automate as much as possible.
Hmm.
If you don't have anything in the account, we would probably start from like 9 foundational flows. We call them like life cycle, from the very beginning when you acquire the lead, like welcome flow, to exit intent, to then post purchase, the bounce back flows. The bounce back flows is kind of like a flows like you know how you are purchasing like hamburger in McDonald's, and then they're asking like, hey, do you want a free like fries with your
Yeah,
hamburger? So that's something that you want to kind of create that experience in your like online experience as well. But yeah, the very beginning would be setting up the foundational like 9 flows, and from there you would be like needing to add like more technology, like upsell, cross sell. You can do it
yeah.
yourself or you can do it through like third party apps. Then doing things like loyalty referral program. The best thing is right now you can, like, I don't know what platforms your customers are using. I'm just going to use Klaviyo as an example because that's probably like one of the biggest platforms
Sure.
that e-commerce people are using. But the beauty of it all is that you can kind of have everything under one umbrella right now. So like email, SMS, even like physical mail. Like a lot of people are like skeptical about it, but from like the brands that I work with, this like postcards that you can like integrate with your customer journeys, they are
Mhm.
huge. Customers don't expect to receive something like this in their mailboxes. That's why it performs so much better. So yeah, the beauty of it all is that right now, like the more of the tools you can have under like that one umbrella, the more omni-channel experience you can create, the better. So
Yeah.
that's yeah.
I just met yesterday a brand around the $10 million range a year in home and gardening
Uh-huh.
category. They have more than 50 different journeys implemented, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think? Is it the right number?
I mean, the more the merrier in my
Yeah.
mind. It's not even like a problem or challenge that we have with a lot of clients that are coming to us. They don't segment their list enough, and they just like have one size fits all for all of the automations. Even
Yeah.
if we talk about something as simple as like checkout start or checkout abandon, like the flow that probably all of you listeners have, one size fits all will not be delivering the same results as if you would, for example, create different branches in that flow.
Hmm.
So even like checkout started, you can branch out people depending on how much money they like left in their cart, or like how much product you left. So for example, you can give like one discount code to people who have like under $100. You can give like a different incentive to people who are like 200 plus. I'm just like using it as an example. You can create separate sequences for your hero products. For example, we have a brand that is like a big cosmetic brand, but they have this like lash serum that is like absolutely rock star, and they're like making half of their revenue from that lash serum specifically. Why not creating like a separate sequence for this like lash serum people?
Hmm.
So the more kind of variation of that journeys you can create, the better. And don't be like spooked of like too little people going through the journeys. We do see, like statistically speaking, that whenever we send a campaign, for example, segmented list, they bring as much, sometimes more revenue than non-segmented list, which again sounds almost like counterintuitive. A lot of brands think that if they just like send it to their entire list, their chances of converting it are better. But by doing that, you're hurting your deliverability. You're not landing in the inboxes of your customers. You're landing in promotion or spam. So, and we see that like revenue wise, people are not losing by segmenting. So like to your point, 50 journeys, yeah, why not? Like
Why not? Yeah.
the more the better. And it depends of course on like what kind of products you're selling. Like how often people repurchase, but the better you can be with like customization, the better your conversion will be. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Let's do some, definition exercise. I mean,
Hmm.
retention is such a jargon these days. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just commonly used. Everyone thinks it's something else. What's retention for you guys?
In my mind, retention is everything that is happening after you acquired that lead.
Hmm.
Not even like the first purchase, after you acquired the
The
lead.
lead,
After,
just a prospect, right? Didn't purchase anything.
yeah, or like, I mean, even like as soon
Subscribe.
as you get some kind of information from the customer, so like you own that data.
Yeah,
It's not like someone on Instagram. It's like you own the data. You
on the
have either
data.
their email or SMS. You can talk to them like
Yes.
directly. So that's where I start thinking about the
Hmm.
retention. So
Nice.
everything that is happening after that, first order, second order, like loyalty points, upsells, cross sells, like how much money they will spend with you, how they will engage with you over the years. This is all like retention to me.
Sure.
It's like a big term, but that's how I think of it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I totally, agree with that. And how do you advise brands to increase their database of those leads?
The database, it's
I
not
mean,
even like about increasing. I think it's about, I see that a lot of brands are not even like catching the traffic that is going to their website. So, like, not having some kind of like a pop up form or some kind of opt in methods. I know a lot of brands are like hesitant of having them because it's like annoying or it's,
disturbing. Yeah.
yeah. So, I do see that point, but why not at least give that option to your customers so you can acquire that email or that SMS and start directly talking to that audience on your like start directly nurturing them through the emails. Something that we also do with our like more established clients, we do the identity resolution. Like we use a lot of identity resolution softwares as well. It's
Hmm.
like mostly for Americans though, because in Europe this like rules are much more strict, and in Canada as well. But basically, what this identity resolution softwares help you to do, they help you identify the traffic that hasn't subscribed to your list. So it
Yeah.
kind of like guesses
Like
based on their like existing
like
databases.
this,
But it's yeah,
like
it's like
R
completely
two
legal.
B two or something. Yeah. I mean, just it can fetch your email ID or your contact details from
Yes,
just
yes.
visiting your website. Yeah.
Yeah, they say that the success rate is like 80% plus. So
Yeah.
like 20% is like they are still not sure if they identify the correct one.
Hmm.
These tools are great if you have like a big and healthy database and you can be like adventurous with adding some emails that you're like not 100% sure about. But if you have some like deliverability issues, or if your website traffic is very low, so for example, I think like retention.com, like this like one of the OG tools, there are
Yes.
like other tools as well, but I think retention works with like traffic of like 50,000 plus per month. So you have to be like a bit more like established in the industry, like known in the industry, for that tool to even like make sense for you.
Sense, yeah.
If you don't have like a list like that, or if your deliverability is not in a good place, or if you want to grow your list like in a more organic ways, do think about having some kind of like opt-in methods. It doesn't have to be pop-up. It can be some kind of like gamified opt-in forms like
Hmm.
this, like wheels that you've seen, or some
Yeah.
quizzes are amazing. Like I like swear by quizzes like Octane AI that help you. For example, if you have like a lot of SKUs on your website, you have like thousands of SKUs, the
Hmm.
quizzes help kind of help you like navigate your customer towards the correct purchase, or
Yeah.
towards the correct product. But at the same time, you're also collecting zero party data that you will be able to use in the future for like segmentation purposes and flows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so for those leads that they didn't purchase anything from us, but we
Yeah,
can identify them and we can reach out to them. What is usually
totally.
the content or the type of content we want to send over?
It depends on like what you're selling, honestly. But if I would to generalize, what we typically do with brands that we work with, we kind of divide people depending on what page they came from. So in our mind, before we start working with a brand, we see like people who are opting in through the home page are people with like lower intent of purchase compared to people who are opting in through the product pages.
Yeah.
So content for people who are coming from your homepages or blogs or something. It would be more like educational, nurturing, who we are, like what we sell, what makes us awesome, what makes us different from everything on the on the market. The product page browsers, we talk to them slightly different, and it's more like product focused, and
Mhm.
sometimes we even like lead with a discount code because we know that something stopped them from buying, and it's not even like the awareness portion. We assume that it was like the price, if the discount code is in your like toolbox at all, because some brands, they don't do like discounts at all.
Yeah.
So first group, we make emphasis on like education. Second group, and more like a product focus on and like discount focus. So that's something we would start
Yeah.
from.
I mean, think about it, where brands are spending sometimes thousands of dollars on a CAC, right, to acquire one customer.
Yeah.
And you have visitors on your website, right? Just give them something, don't
Yeah.
just quizzes, give them something, something
Some kind
valuable.
of value. Yeah.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
can transfer. I mean, it's so cheaper than any of your PPC or whatever campaigns that you do
Totally.
online, right?
Totally. Yeah. And that like price of the second conversion would even be
Yeah.
like cheaper compared to the first one. No, totally. And I know that brands are very like honestly, some people are saying that like email is so old school or like SMS is so old school. Well, you know what? I've been hearing this ever since I started working in the industry. But you can tell like whatever you want, but until you actually own that content through email or through SMS, until you can talk to them like directly and you have the full like control over their experience, I don't think you're even like owning a lead.
Mhm.
Because on like Instagram or like or YouTube or something, you don't have the full control of their customer journey, and
Sure.
here you do. So you, and like 98% of like planet Earth's users of internet, they have email, like 98%. I think it's even like might be 100. So it's like just like
Sure.
dumb not to have this automation. And on average we see that like Shopify brands on average are driving like 25 to 30% revenue from like Klaviyo. So from like combination of email and SMS,
Mm,
25 to 30% of their online revenue. That's a lot.
that's a lot.
That's a lot of money to like leave on the table. So do set up some like basic stuff and start like looking into like the journeys and stuff. And platforms like Klaviyo, we even use them not just as like communication platforms, but also as like data collection platforms. Because things that you can see, like even with segments, if you don't want to be paying for like some extra like analytic tool,
Mhm.
even just like segments and custom reports, it can give you like so much data about your customer that you will be able to use in your like other marketing channels, that it's like dumb not to use that
Mm. Yes.
possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, what are the important KPIs for successful retention implementation?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good one, because a lot of people, when they think of email marketing, they think of like open rates. You know what? Open rates are not important anymore, like as
Yeah,
important
the
as they
bots
used to be.
opened it,
Yeah,
right?
because like bots are opening emails,
Yeah,
and now like all of the open rates are like 60%,
yeah,
70%. It doesn't tell you like whether or not your account is or your email
right.
is actually performing well. So I would like almost ignore it altogether. You can still look at the open rates, but more as like directional metrics. So you
Yes,
can see like,
over time probably
yeah,
is.
like this like
Yeah.
here we like improved, here it decreased, but do not take it as like the main metric. Click rates is still probably something that is like very telling about like how good your email is.
Mhm.
And we as email marketers, we don't have like a full control over user experience, but if we see that the click rates are high, open rates are high, click rates are high, people are going to the website, they are clicking, so they want to hear from you, but then conversion is like not happening on the website, it tells you something about like the website and the journey there. Of course, we can control like a lot of aspects of conversion in emails, but not everything. But to my point about click rates, whenever we see like it's a little trick, whenever we see that the click rates are like dropping, A, we'll look into segmentation, B, we'll look into the design, layout, and content of the email. We've started using like plain text emails more and more, just
Mhm.
like to improve the engagement, because we do see that people are clicking on plain text email more, they're opening them more, because these emails, they're actually landing in your inboxes, not in like promotions or spam folders, because in the eyes of Google, it's like not promotional, like it's not a marketing material per se. So that's why we started using this like plain text more and more, even though they literally take us like 5 minutes to set up.
Yeah.
The conversion that we see from that kind of emails, it's like much better. So these are the metrics. And of course, like we do take a look at the conversion. And if you look at the places, if you use platforms like Klaviyo, you can even see like a conversion breakdown by the audience. For example, you're saying sending, I don't know, like a Mother's Day campaign or something, and you have like different audiences. You have engaged customers, you have people who viewed specific products, you have people who are window shoppers, people who are like lapsed customers, stuff like that. Then you get a report breakdown based on like how each group performed. That's why I'm like a big
Nice.
fan of like segmenting your list. Even if some people will be at like multiple segments at the same time, you can at least start seeing the patterns. You can see like, okay, this group does not respond, like maybe we
Mhm.
need to experiment for this like specific group. This group like responds well to promotion, this group responds well to like educational nurturing content. And piece by piece you kind of like put together like a puzzle of your customer journey and of who your customer is,
Yeah.
like what they like and stuff like that. Yeah.
Great. So we talked about branded email versus plain text and some few
Yeah.
links. Probably that's definitely an important topic. What about educational content versus sales? What
Mm-hmm.
about sequence frequencies,
Uh-huh.
steps? What are your thoughts on this?
It's like so like case by case. It's like
Mhm.
very hard to generalize, but as a rule of thumb, we try to deliver some kind of value to the customer, especially to the new one, before like asking them to purchase. So we don't, for example, offer a discount code typically in
Mm.
like our regular customer journeys, like until email 6 or until email like 5. We try to educate them and we try not to train the customers to expect the discount codes from us all the time. But yeah, we do have some clients who are in like health and wellness industry, and we see that the emails are being opened, they are being collected, so people are like collecting the information but not necessarily purchasing, and
Mhm.
that's okay as well. We know that their customer journey or their life cycle is slightly different. Or for example, like we had a client who was selling like mattresses and stuff. We know that people will not like repurchase a mattress within the next like year or so, statistically speaking.
Yes.
But we can still try to like upsell them on different things, or try to educate them, or try to follow up with like some kind of like valuable, useful educational
Mhm.
information for them, just like to be on top of their mind whenever they think of like something sleep related. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it makes sense. Some of the products are more inclined to repetitive purchase, some are not, like the mattress,
Yeah. Yeah.
example,
So
and a
it's
totally
very,
different strategy, yeah, for
yeah,
all
it's
together.
very customized.
And what about the frequency?
Frequency depends again on like what you're selling.
Sure.
We do see that like typically at the beginning of the journey it's like a honeymoon period. Like we are sending an email every day or like every second
Wow.
day, like later in the journey. But again, we have some like filters there and like custom logic there. If say the purchase happened, the person is like exiting the nurturing sequence and going directly into like a post purchase sequence that is like
Mm-hmm.
less aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we see that they are like not engaging with like every email, we are sending it like we're like spreading them out like later in the journey. So there's like no one size fits all. But what actually helps us a lot with like planning the email cadence, every time we start working with a new client, we have this like email preference pages where we allow customer to pick how often they want to hear from us. Some customers, they exclusively want to hear about like your promotion, so they can like pick it as a category and we would create the respective segment. Or some
Yes.
customers, they only want to hear from you like once a week or once every like months or something, so we can like we are like respecting their privacy and their preferences as well, and it helps us to deliver like the right message to the right person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when we need to bring in SMS to this plan.
It's like honestly, I think as soon as possible, because we do see conversion with SMS is like higher than with email. Um, and if people are actually like giving you their phone number, it means that they like trust you, that they are like closer to the purchase. Because people with email, they're like careless. They're like, I'm giving my email to whoever I want. I'm
Yeah,
like very careful with whom I'm giving my like phone number to. With SMS, I wouldn't recommend being like as adventurous as with emails. Like, do not send to people like every day. Please don't. Like,
sure.
we recommend like once a week, maybe. Like, that's a good cadence, or more like a triggered by their actions. But of course, you can like analyze the engagement of the SMS. And like change that patterns, but that's like as a rule of thumb, like once a week is like
Hmm.
good enough, or even like even less. So only message when you have something like big to tell them,
Yes. And this is really just SMS. What about WhatsApp? Is it part of this as
Yeah, I
well?
mean, Klaviyo just introduced WhatsApp
Yeah.
recently, personally, like a month ago or something, but it's still very limited, and they're using it mostly for transactional purposes. I'm in Europe right now, and everyone is using WhatsApp. In
Yeah.
America, it's still not as big. I don't know about like Israel or where your listeners are in the world. Tell us like if WhatsApp is big. Here in UK, it's
Huge. Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. Like brands have it. Like all of my friends' groups are on WhatsApp. In America, it's still getting there. People are using it for personal messages, not necessarily for marketing ones.
Yes.
So it's still like too early to tell whether or not it's gonna stick. But for my clients, I'm planning to start experimenting with WhatsApp in like Q3. But it's still like very like limited compared to what we have here
Yeah.
in Europe.
But
Yeah.
beyond Klaviyo, I think, and it's probably the capability will evolve. It's more kind of an intrusive kind of an outbound reach out, right?
Yeah.
With the WhatsApp, it's more personal kind of thing, right? So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's
It's
yeah.
Yeah, I know
Um,
some brands are using like Telegram as well.
mhm.
Here in UK, I was like surprised. So I know in Ukraine, it's like one of the big messengers. In UK, people started
Mhm.
using it as well, and brands as well. All of this like chatbots and stuff. Uh, but yeah, our like in ideal world, we would have again like all of the tools that we're using under one umbrella, like Klaviyo or
Yes.
whatever you're using, email, SMS. They like recently introduced this like RCS, like rich SMS content. I'm not sure if you used it a lot or not, but basically what it is, it looks like an SMS or MMS, but you can include like maps, product cards, not just like an image like we used to in the past, but now it's like a rich SMS content. So it's pretty cool as well, especially if you have like a lot of SKUs.
Yes. Yes. Vera, any recommendation on deliverability?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, first of all, don't like bombard your entire list with the same message. That's a big one because you will end up in spam. And it's like harder to get into the spam than get out of the spam box. All of this, like ESPs, they have this like little deliverability tool where you can kind of check on like what's impacted your deliverability recently. But whenever you are starting your account, or you're moving from one domain to another, or you're like moving from one platform to another, we would recommend starting with like warming up your ESP first. So launch the automations first before introducing the campaigns, just because historically they tend to have like better engagement. So that's something we would recommend. But also, yeah, do not message like every day to your customers unless you know that that's what they want, or unless they are at the beginning of their customer
Mhm.
journey. So yeah, just like look at how your different audiences perform. Rule of thumb, just like do not send the same message to everyone. The better you can customize the journeys, the better are your chances of like ending up in like a
Mhm.
primary folder and not in spam or promotion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big it's a big issue, right? I mean, it's
It is a big
deliverability, and
topic.
yeah, but definitely something to focus. So, I mean, it's huge, right? I mean, there you need to have a lot of experience to know how to set up this type of campaigns and email workflows
Yes,
and sequences. I mean, obviously anyone can do that, but you need to know what you're doing, right? I mean, because the
it's a bit
variables.
tedious.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, there's so many things you need to think of, right? I mean, the sequence, the
right.
copy, the outbound. I mean, how do you reach out, and having all these multiple campaigns in place, and yeah, it's kind of a complex. How do you usually serve customers? Is it like done for you service or done with
Mm-hmm.
you? What's your approach?
No, we don't do done with you. It's like done for you. So they
Mm-hmm.
come to us, they give us like the accesses, and we take care of everything like email copy, setup, design, reporting, and all of that. Like email delivered is actually just like the top of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
The main work happens on the back end. So the list cleaning, like you mentioned, all of the like deliverability related things, the analytics. So we are not just like analyzing how the email performed, we are analyzing your entire like retention marketing strategy. And of course, right now with like AI tools, it brought us to even like the next level, of like
Yes.
what can we do. I'm not like speaking creatively, because like my portion, what I do is strategy, right? I think our creatives are using like AI tools as well to kind of like improve the designs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, like things that you can do and like the findings that you can get from even like Claude, just by like uploading some of the analytics and like trying to find those like blind spots that you were missing, it's been super super helpful. So
Yeah.
in the last year, it like brought us to the whole another
Yeah.
level of
And
analyzing and understanding the data.
and this includes also AI generated copy. What are your thoughts on this?
Mm,
Fine?
I'm very skeptical. We've tested it back in the day with like custom GPTs and stuff. We've tested it with Claude. So right now we're using it more to kind of test if we are in line. I think our copywriters do use it to kind of create it, but it's still like human generated.
Yeah.
There are some brands whose copy is kind of like repetitive, standard, and stuff like that. But majority of the brands that we work with, they deliver like a high quality content on a weekly basis that kind of requires a lot of research and something that is like not on the top of the internet. So we
Mm-hmm.
have this like
Mm-hmm.
hair transplantation clinics client that our
Yeah.
customers kind of are like used to receiving like a good high quality research materials like with links to the actual studies and stuff like that. So for
Yeah.
this type of clients, we cannot replace it with Claude or with like any AI, maybe yet, I don't know. But for some like clients that are selling, I don't know, like supplements, and your content is like quite repetitive, yes, that definitely the portion that you can automate. But you need to be very careful. Like I'm talking specifically about like supplement client. When we did this like experiment, but then the human was checking, we noticed like a lot of medical like promises were made, even though it was like a part of the script, like not to made it. So you
Mm-hmm.
still need to check all the time. What we use it mostly for is like analytics. So that helped
Sure.
us to create like really really strong like reporting analyses. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, Vera, how brands can find you?
Like honestly, flowium.com is the best place. Or just like reach out if you have any questions, Vira at flowium.com. Everything is super straightforward. But yeah, we do post a lot of really high quality educational content. We're like sharing everything that we learned. We're sharing it with the internet. So go to our YouTube channel, go to our Instagram. We're very like active everywhere, and follow us on LinkedIn as well, because that's where we post like a lot of good quality stuff as well.
Very nice. I mean, content is so important, right?
It
So,
is
definitely.
100%.
Great. Vera, anything
100%.
else you want to add?
No, thank you so much for having me. It was super fun. You
Yeah.
guys, if you have any questions, talk to me, talk to my colleagues. We're like the biggest retention marketing nerds, and happy to talk about
Yes.
retention
Not just
all
nerd.
day, every day.
I mean, you're also full of energy of this topic. It was really great to
Thank you.
see. So, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
You too.